Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, got them don't like acts. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. Trinidad and Tobago to we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race, fine and Negro places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago to we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race, fine and Negro places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago to we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race, fine and Negro places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago to we have this thing out to fix. We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race, fine and Negro places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics tomorrow night.
Mr. Douglas.
Douglas politics
Mr. Douglas
Friday
politics.
night.
Tone it down, please. Tone it down. I'm telling you to tone it down. Look, rules? I don't care about rules. Just tone it down. I'm the headmistress.
Oh,
Tone it down, please.
sorry, Madam Referee, sorry. Tone it down. Okay, I'll tone down the promo. So, anything to make you happy, Madam Referee. Douglas politics tomorrow night, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Before you line, before you social distance, Douglas politics.
Once again, relevance.
But Madam Referee.
Relevance. Can you please deal with the promotion, please? We're trying to get the show on the road. Please, stay relevant.
That's very relevant to what we are doing. It's a promo for tomorrow night, Friday night, 7:30. We want people live on Facebook and on YouTube log on because we start on time, so it is very relevant to what we're trying to
Listen,
promote.
Douglas, no show. Cancel the show.
Sorry, Madam Referee, sorry. Anything to make you happy.
I'm expelling the show. Please, Douglas, leave the studio. Leave the studio now.
Douglas politics. We are studying nothing. We must give the people the information. Douglas politics. Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Be there.
Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics.
Good evening and welcome to Douglas Politics. Share the live. Hold on. I changed the thing. I confusing Archie and Vishnu. Part 2, Chapter 2 of Planet Senator. Anaya, listen carefully. Daddy's not there to read for you tonight, so I will give you a fairy tale. It's part 2 of Planet Senator with Headmistress Kangaroo and Booming Voice. Now, Headmistress Kangaroo previously was a very loving, caring human being. She would take care of all the children on Planet Senator, the red snakes, the yellow jackets, all the little kids running around. Headmistress Kangaroo would take care of them, read stories for them, treat them with love and respect. But something happened in the life of Headmistress Kangaroo, and it turned her into a wicked witch who attacked the yellow jackets at any time, and especially Booming Voice. Everyone on Planet Senator knew that Headmistress Kangaroo was happily married to Mr. Gracias. Mr. Gracias was a good husband, but unfortunately, as many times it happens, Mr. Gracias, his eyes strayed, and he had his heart and affinity, love and care for another lady on Planet Senator. He was falling in love with this lady, but on Planet Senator, there were lawyers across the board who used to represent red snakes and yellow jackets. And there was this one lawyer called Redman, Sweet Redman they call him, and he swept Mr. Gracias' girl off her feet, and she fell in love with Mr. Redman. This sent Mr. Gracias off his rocker. In the middle of the town of the capital city, he would go and search for the girl, but she was in the warm embrace of Sweet Redman. When he found them in the office, the legal office, reading briefs and checking briefs together, Mr. Gracias, the husband of Headmistress Kangaroo, he lost his mind, and a fight ensued. They were fighting down the steps into the street. It spilled off into the streets of the city, and the whole planet found out about the infidelity. Mrs. Kangaroo found out on the 7 p.m. news on TV6 on Planet Senator that her husband, Mr. Gracias, had been beaten by Sweet Man in the streets for a girl who he had loved. After that, the sweet, loving kangaroo, Headmistress Kangaroo, would not treat people well anymore. She would not read for the children and buy ice cream. She became bitter. She became angry. She became a dictator. She became aggressive. And then the whole planet was shaking in fear. And when Booming Voice would talk in the meetings, Mrs. Kangaroo, the headmistress, would shut him down and shout him down and stop it. She just couldn't find her way. But Booming Voice had empathy in his heart because he understood why Headmistress Kangaroo was behaving in such a vile manner. So he forgave her and he tried to empathize with her because Mr. Gracias not only was not a good boyfriend, he couldn't fight either because he got a cocktail in the middle of the Capitol for his girlfriend. Chapter 3, next week on Planet Senator. Good evening. Share the live, because let me tell you something. This thing is not no joke. All right? Things getting serious. Let me show y'all, if y'all don't know, what took place in the Senate on Tuesday. Archie, show the people on Douglas Politics what took place on Tuesday. Run it.
The PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister, Leader of Government
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister.
Now let us be clear. In politics, on the hustings for elections, on social media, banter, meetings, virtual reports, there's place for pecan, for jokes, for serious things, to keep you entertained and to get the message out. But when you enter the hallowed halls of Parliament, when I dress up, bathe, put on deodorant, put on suit and tie, prepare for hours on end, research, get facts, read bills, and come to the Senate, I come there with a very serious purpose. Kamla Prasad Bisesa chose only six, because our constitution is heavily weighted for whoever will pass the post first. So even though you have 322,000 in Trinidad and Tobago, 307,000 in Trinidad, and the United National Congress under Kamla Prasad Bisesa has 309,000 votes in Trinidad. You, the PNM, get 15 senators. Plus, they get to choose the president of the Senate, while the opposition gets 6. Kamla Prasad Bisesa has at her disposal qualified people in every sphere across the board: lawyers, doctors, professors, teachers, businessmen, and she could only choose 6 to represent 309,000 people. Normally to debate for 40 minutes. But this time, under COVID, with no science, with no discussion, with a bread house that costs $500 million, with roof that is 15 meters high, with mask on, with glass, sanitization, separation, our speaking time of our 6 senators was cut to 20 minutes. So much so that Senator Wade Mark brought a motion, because you can debate a motion, a substantive motion, and you have a wide area to deal with that motion. He brought that because of the seriousness of being a senator and contributing in the parliament. This is not no game. This is not no kicks. This is not no power play between who feel them in charge and who feel they not. We are there. The opposition is there to have its say. We can't change anything. We can't bring laws. We can't outvote the PNM, the government. But what we can do, live on TV, on radio, and then for you on social media is give you the facts, dissect bills to the best of our ability to help you, the population, understand what laws are being passed that will affect you. So it's not no game. It's a very serious thing. We swear and we take an oath to serve the citizens and the country of Trinidad and Tobago inside of there. So me I know who playing game inside of there, but certainly not me. When I was down in the parliament as a member for Dabadi O'Meara, I talk an hour and 15 minutes, and my preparation was so good I could have talked another hour. So when you come and you cut my time, 20 minutes to talk to the people in the people house about their money, about their laws, and you're all playing games. Well, today, you the people going to decide, so share the life. You going to decide on what was right and what was wrong. Not me, because I'm in the Senate. I cannot and will not bring anybody in the Senate into dispute or in any discussion. But what I can tell you is, and I want you all to read this, because you all are going to be the judges. You all are going to determine whether that was right, wrong, a mockery, or it was correct. You will determine. But let me read for you this book here, and you all could put it up. They could hear my voice, but you all could put it up. This book is the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Standing Orders of the Senate. On page 34, reorder in the Senate and in committee. Listen to this very carefully, right? The president or the chairman, after having called the attention of the Senate or of the committee to the conduct of a senator who A, has used objectionable, abusive, insulting, or offensive words or language or unparliamentary expressions, and on being called to order has refused to withdraw such words or language or expression, has not offered an apology for the use thereof. So first and foremost, all of this, you have to use objectionable, abusive, insulting, and offensive language. But that wasn't it, you know. Because if you do that, if you use abusive, offensive, unparliamentary language, you are then called upon to withdraw and apologize. It's only if you refuse to apologize and withdraw that the possibility of sanction can exist. So it's not even a one-off. It continues on page 34. Gross disorder. And understand that for a senator to be removed from a sitting of the Senate, he must have been guilty, he or she must have been guilty of gross disorder. Why? Because it is very important to democracy to have the opposition debate bills, to discuss, to banter, to put up options or otherwise to help laws become good law. It is critical to democracy so that the government cannot utilize its power to become dictators and oppress citizens. This is not no game. This is a very serious thing. So the standing orders, and it's not only in Trinidad and Tobago, across the Commonwealth in Parliament, for a senator to be thrown out of the Senate, he or she must commit gross disorder. So let me read, and I'm reading this for you all because you all going to look just now later on in Douglas politics, and you going to determine if I committed gross disorder on parliamentary, whatever you all decide. I ain't saying nothing. For conduct shall be deemed to be grossly disorderly if during proceedings the senator concerned creates actual disorder, uses or threatens violence against a senator or other person. Violence, uses or threatens violence, acts in a manner that displays flagrant disobedience to rulings of the chair. Flagrant disobedience. Acts in any other way to the serious detriment of the dignity or orderly procedure of the Senate. Number 5, the President may order any senator whose conduct is grossly disorderly to withdraw immediately from the Senate for the remainder of that day's sitting. We just show you the second clip. Show the second clip that you just played of when I was sent out after I apologized. Listen to what I said and tell me, you people decide out at Trinidad and Tobago if that was gross misconduct. You all decide, I don't know. Okay? So play that second one there.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Robert, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sitting. Please leave the chamber. Minister, Leader of Government.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Robert, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sitting. Please leave the chamber. Minister.
Now we're going to show you, Vishnu and Archie have put together some compilations of certain things that have occurred in parliaments in the Commonwealth who follow the same Westminster system. They may have their own standing orders, but they're all based on the same principles. One, that for democracy to thrive, people must be able to speak freely. There must be no suppression or oppression of the opposition. The majority must not stifle the minority. That the country of which the parliament represents, people must be free to debate the laws freely and under rules. So let's see some actions that have occurred in parliaments across the Commonwealth and across the world. Run it there, Archie.
President, I would love to know what standing order, please, is tone it down. Because I've read and I have not seen it. Please advise.
Well, no, that's very good for you. If you are reading and you're not seeing it, I am saying to you, and I have said it repeatedly, unless someone wants to question the authority of the presiding officer, I am saying to you, tone it down.
While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sitting. Please leave the chamber. Minister.
I'm sorry, but under the power given to me by Standing Order number 43, and I think the honourable gentleman will know the implications of his action, I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting.
Why does this government treat Alberta like a fart in the room that nobody wants to talk about or acknowledge?
Point of order. The honourable member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Interrupt my friend in her speech, but I heard her say a word that I know is distinctly unparliamentary, and I think she may want to withdraw it. The word was F-A-R-T.
The honourable member for Calgary Signal Hill.
Are you serious, Mr. Speaker? Like, is my colleague actually serious? I just gave an impassioned speech about supporting Alberta jobs, and that's what the leader of a political party stands up and has to say? No, I don't withdraw it.
Members, you were forewarned. Members, you were forewarned. Member for Member for Barbuda. Go ahead. Member for Barbuda, you take your seat, please. Member for Barbuda. Member for Barbuda. You were warned about flinging stones all afternoon. Member for Barbuda, take your seat, please. Thank you.
Member for St. Phillips North.
You have to take it back as I'm leaving. I never took no money from nobody.
You can leave, because I saw you with the damn gold paper bag. Okay, I say no more, but more there to come.
It's
so
a true. It's a true saying.
People get the facts.
It's a true saying. When you have glass house, you don't throw stones.
When he picked up the brown paper bag, I don't say not with that.
I don't have the time to read the whole thing for you.
You have to have the time. The people pay you to listen to us. When you have the Prime Minister insulting this gentleman by name and you are giving them opportunities to do that, and I am talking about good governance. What is your problem, Mr. Speaker?
The problem is they pay me to ensure that you do your job.
They pay you to block me.
And
that's what they pay you for.
You know what? That statement, can I get a minister to name this person, please? You're going to tell me? You're going to tell me?
It's a joke. It's a joke. You are a mercenary for that government.
Can I get a minister to name this person?
It is ridiculous that a member of the House cannot speak about good governance in this country.
Can I get a minister of government to name this person?
Over there. Thieves. There is nothing that I have done that is illegal or against the orders of this House.
While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
I note that honourable members opposite were given as much time as they wanted to make their points. And I intend to take as much time as is my right to make my point.
Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts, I will ask you to apologize right now for the comments I just heard you make. I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister, Leader of Government Business.
I simply ask the right honourable gentleman to withdraw that word. He cannot accuse another member in this House of dishonesty. Withdraw.
In courtesy to yourself, I withdraw. For courtesy to yourself.
No, there are plenty of precedents for that. I remember doing it once myself. And I remember a member of the Shadow Cabinet from West Bromwich once doing it out of deference to the chair rather than the person whom he'd been attacking. That's enough.
I note that
on page 619 of the O'Brien and Bosch, I shall read what's in here. In dealing with unparliamentary language, the Speaker takes into account the manner and intention of the member speaking, the person whom the words at issue were directed, and it goes on. What I'm going to say is that sometimes in this chamber, passion takes over and it gets kind of heated, and sometimes we say things out of order or things that may not be parliamentary. The honourable member said a couple of things that were bordering, but it's up to her to decide whether they were unparliamentary. Someone took offence. I will take it under advisement, bring it back to the table, and we'll go from there.
What is your problem, Mr. Speaker?
The problem is they pay me to ensure that you do your job.
They pay you to block me.
And
that's what they pay you for.
You know what? That statement, can I get a minister to name this person, please? You're going to tell me? You're going to tell me?
It's a joke. It's a joke. You are a mercenary for that government.
Can I get a minister to name this person?
It is ridiculous that a member of the House cannot speak about good governance in this country.
Can I get a minister of government to name this person?
Over there. Thieves. There is nothing that I have done that is illegal or against the orders of this House.
Welcome back, and just take note that none of those parliamentarians were thrown out. None of them were thrown out because the importance, the overriding importance is that democracy must prevail. Even in the case of gross disorder, You heard the speaker who was being abused calling for the standing orders, calling for a minister to call the MP's name so that the rules could be adhered to. So even though he was angry and he was being attacked by the member of parliament, he could do nothing unless a minister of the government opened the standing orders and said 46-1, 46-6, whatever, and then he would rule. That parliamentarian did not get thrown out. A man take the mace in the British Parliament, walk it out, walk it back and on. He did not get thrown out. People refused to apologize for unparliamentary language and were not thrown out. But I was thrown out. The UNC was thrown out. 309,000 citizens were thrown out. And when we come back, you all are going to see. Please share the live. We're going to go through the contribution and you decide what is going on, because we are in a state of chaos in Trinidad and Tobago. The economy has collapsed. The Minister of Energy is the most incompetent human being on the face of the planet. He's so incompetent he does not even have control of his portfolio. It's being run by a small pin and an Oreo. We have no jobs, people have no water, no electricity, oil going up, transport going up, food going up, gas going up. Just now they say because of the cold weather in the north, oil may go to $100 a barrel. That means at least 400,000 cars of people who have cars now will not be able to drive your car because they are liberalizing gas. They took away your gas subsidy. They say it's too expensive, but they're spending money on renting Al Recusal building. They're borrowing money at high interest rates from Al Recusal brother, and that's what we in. And the only thing that the opposition has is to speak in the Senate and the Parliament, because when the mass media, and I must say that the Express since October has been fair and balanced, and that's what we want. The Newsday is coming around in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I ain't sure if Judy Raymond's still there or if she get fired. But the Guardian of Rowley K-Pax is still there. You still have now TTT put the Jamaican PNM on. You have a mass media who does not share information, just does not adhere to journalistic integrity and principles, and therefore the population is only fed certain pieces of information. So the one time the opposition has to speak to the people directly is in the Parliament and the Senate. You saw what parliamentarians do and their behavior. Are you all saying that Senator Anil Roberts did anything approaching that? And number one, my time of speaking was curtailed. That is a serious punishment. And then for apologizing, I was thrown out. That is a major punishment. Not only on me, I don't represent me inside a day. I am a senator of the United National Congress of the Opposition, representing 309,000 citizens and the entire country. Those who don't care about politics, those who don't vote, and those who are independent. This is not no game. So you people, when we come back, we're going to decide. You sit down there and you decide if these standing orders, if any conduct shall be deemed grossly disorderly, if Anil Senator Roberts created actual disorder, if Anil Roberts used threatening violence or against any senator or other person, if Senator Anil Roberts acted in a manner that displays flagrant disobedience, you all determine when we come back. Let me take a short break. We're coming back.
And I want to excuse the Prime Minister, you know, but I'm going to touch her later. But Honorable Minister, Madam Chair, through you, Honorable Minister of Finance, don't you ever pretend as if you so love my country more than me. It could never ever happen. Never. This is all I have. This is all I have. I don't have nothing else nowhere. Nothing else nowhere. So when you get up in a press briefing and you talk about how members of parliament doing this and doing that and putting the country in jeopardy and doing this, absolutely, look, listen, stop it. Don't do it. It's unbecoming. This is my country. All my children are born here. Wife, girlfriend, side chick, this chick, all of them, every one of them from here. All.
You all see it? I agree with him. So when I go in the Senate, I not on no games with nobody. I ain't come there to play no tit for tat, no little child games, no puerile thing. I've researched, I've done my work, I've read the bill, and I'm coming to present a case to you, the people, through the Senate, that the opposition has chosen me to sit for this moment, representing many people. There are many brilliant people who could sit in that chair. I treat that chair with respect. I work hard to make sure that my contributions are insightful, get down to the nitty-gritty, unmask the dictatorship and dictatorial tendencies of the PNM to do what they want. They legalize thieving and whatever they want to do to oppress and suppress people of all classes, races, and religions in this country. So run the track, Archie, from the beginning, and then we will cut it and you all will determine. Let us go. This is a very serious debate on the speaking time of senators in the House. Since August 29th, our speaking time had been cut in half, but we draw in full pay. We're talking only 20 minutes. But in between, Faris al recusal, al lost 31 case, al rental, al collect money on time. Bring 3 bills. And we sat down there for 12 and a half hours. So COVID went on holiday that day. For the budget, they moved from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. So COVID went on holiday for the budget debate. What is the science? Why the suppression of the opposition to speak? Run it.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. Let me just start the debate by responding to some of my honorable colleagues on the other side. Senator De Freitas, for example, he spent a lot of time talking about Senator Mark. I believe that the motion was about Senator Mark and his longevity and the amount of time he contributes and so on. Let me just make it quite clear that Senator Mark is the leader of the opposition bench. He represents the United National Congress, all 5 senators here and himself, and 309,000 people. So when he asks questions, he asks on behalf of the population, as he is so entitled to do under United National Congress. We caucus come up with questions, and it's not just Senator Mark. So I'm not sure where Senator De Freitas was going there to calculate the urgent questions plus the questions on notice plus how much time Senator Mark debates. He's entitled so to do. He's a senator here, an honorable senator, and he represents 309,000 people who voted for the United National Congress. Senator De Freitas also spoke about the risk to exposure, and this motion speaks about the new normal. The new normal must be based on science. And I think my honorable colleagues on the other side have lost the debate, they've lost the plot. We want to understand the science that is making your decision. Why did the leader of government business in the Senate come today and make a quick change at the beginning to say that we could go to 45 minutes for the mover and the first 2 responders and then to 30 minutes instead of 20? What was the science that brought about that decision? That's all we want to know, because a pandemic, health issues, deals with science, and the science is confusing me. So when I hear Senator De Freitas talk about the risk of exposure, and that's why we cut the time, was there no risk of exposure when the PNM brought 3 bills and we sat down here for 12 and a half hours debating until 2 o'clock in the morning? Or on that day was COVID-19 at rest or at sleep? Was there no risk to exposure when we were here and we went to normal contribution for the budget debate? Or where was the risk to exposure? Furthermore, the PNM on that side has criticized Kamala Prasad-Bisesa and the UNC for talking about the risk of exposure outdoors as opposed to indoors. Because anyone who knows and studies and reads the science would know that any virus, including the COVID-19 virus, has a shorter half-life when it's outdoors in the sunlight. It lives for 12 hours. Therefore, if you're in the sunlight, the risk to exposure is shorter than if it's indoors or in a cold climate of 72 hours. And that is the science. So I'm not sure how my colleagues on the other side change the science to make fun and jokes. And then when we are coming here to debate serious issues in the Senate. This is not a joke. I like politics. There's time for joke and there's time for peacock. That's on the pulpit and the hustings and so on. But when we come here to debate, it's a serious time. So I'm not sure what my colleague was talking about. He said he talked about quality versus quantity. That anybody could get up here in 10 minutes and be brilliant, but sometimes, and I must say I congratulate him for being honest, as he went to basically confess his incompetence at debating, because he said he tried to sit down for 40 minutes, and when he did that, he didn't perform well, and then when he shortened it, he didn't need to talk so long. So I look forward to Senator De Freitas in the future curtailing his contributions, and so that we could get high quality, as he's unable to debate for a sustained period. I think that honesty is very important. So we move on to Dr. Amory Brown, and this was shocking to me, because a doctor is a scientist, a doctor is great at science, pandemic is science, speaking time, exposure, science, risk of infection, science. But yet I listened to Dr. Amory Brown and I was shocked. I had to actually Google to double check that he was not a doctor of arts or a doctor of drumming or music, and it said medical doctor. And I am absolutely astounded, because in his contribution today, he took a left turn and went totally away from science that he may have studied long ago. He spoke about also the Greek parliament, and the Greek parliament curtailing the time. They did not. There was a pandemic, there was exposure around the area of the parliament. They did not curtail speaking time. The Greek parliament meets quite often. It meets 5 days per week. But what they did was, instead of meeting 5 days, they started to meet 3 days to discuss bills and draft legislation and so on. Dr. Amory Brown talked about bipartisan, that we need to come here and for the people's good to discuss bills and to get together and promote good law, which is great. But there's a problem here. The honorable leader of the government business came here. For example, I was prepared for 20 minutes. I had no idea that this morning we would change it to 30 minutes. So I'm not understanding the bipartisan approach when we just reach here and just so the time changes without any scientific explanation. Dr. Amory Brown was talking about quality versus quantity. But I recall I love to listen to debate. And I listened to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in the budget debate in his first contribution. And for 14 minutes he went through. I also met with Johnny, and I also met with Suzanne, and I also met, and for 14 long minutes he went on repeating about who he met with as Minister of Foreign Affairs after 5 weeks of being sworn in. And I wonder if that was quality debate, because he's criticizing the UNC and saying that we don't have quality contributions to make. I think we have a lot to contribute. Furthermore, to discuss and to criticize and to state whether we should speak or not. The people are watching, the people are viewing. This Senate and this House, this Parliament is for discussion, for debate, for the population's benefit, not for the government's benefit, not to please Dr. Amory Brown or any minister. This is here, Minister of Foreign Affairs, sorry ma'am. Yes, not to please the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I was trying to break a record, Madam President. Well, I reached a little 4 minutes, but we are here for the people. This is live on TV, live on radio, social media, so that the population can ascertain what we are doing here. We are debating some critical bills, some bills affecting constitutional rights. And to curtail that for 20 minutes, I know that some lawyers even on that side are saying, yes, boy, I agree with you, because we cannot debate critical issues in 20 minutes, as has been stated by a number of senatorial colleagues in this chamber. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs also said, and some of my independent colleagues.
Senator Roberts, because you said you were going for the record, it's the Honorable Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs.
Thank you. I
keep reminding senators it is your obligation, your duty, to understand how you should address one another.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I humbly apologize. The Honorable Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, he stated that no one has contracted COVID-19. Really? How do we know? How many of us have been tested when we take our temperature outside and we check and we sanitize? How many of us have been swabbed? How many rapid tests have been taken since August 29th when we came in to the Senate? How many of us know if we contracted it? 80% of people who contract COVID-19 do not get a fever, do not show a symptom. They move around very normally. So we are stating categorically positions without scientific basis of fact. And we need to stop that. This is the Senate, the upper house. We should be making comments based on information, on record. None of us in here know whether we did or did not contract, because we have not been tested. Let me move on now. As the motion says, and I would just like to say to the government members, if you believe that the speaking time is too long, it's okay. You all have the numbers. You have 16. So instead of suppressing and oppressing the rights of the United National Congress and the opposition speaking time, curtail yours. You all are in the majority. So if you need to cut a certain amount of time out of the debates, then you limit it. You have 16. So limit your 16 to 20 minutes and leave us with our full time so that we can do our job that the taxpayers are paying us so to do. The motion speaks about the new normal. I've heard Senator De Freitas and Senator Amory Brown state that that our Constitution and our rights, we have not been oppressed here by the government, by the majority, that we agreed to speaking time. Senator De Freitas even went on to say that he had a meeting with the leader of the opposition bench, and in a meeting he said that, I don't even know that's a private meeting, but here on the floor, when the motion was brought, we disagreed, and we will always, because we are here to do our job, and in most cases on bills, even the total speaking time is insufficient to really dissect intricate details of clauses that impact our citizens when we pass it here. But the new normal has to be based on science. The framers of our Constitution intended to create something resembling our democracy. Then came 30 years of uninterrupted PNM. And now we are here, democracy thwarted. What is this science? We must understand that science informed the PNM to come today to increase and change speaking time to 45 minutes and 30. Why not 40 minutes as normal? Why the extra 10 minutes increases COVID-19 contagion? This has been the problem not only here in the Senate, but across Trinidad and Tobago. People are asking the question, why can a restaurant open till 10? Is COVID-19 less infectious in a restaurant than in a bar? We are trying to understand the rules that we would like to follow based on science, not on opinion, not on feeling, not on who like who. Oxford, and the PNM loves Oxford since 2 students told them that they were #1, and they believe that, and we've heard that 100 times. But we move from #1 to number 192 now, and we're borrowing vaccine and then claiming that we didn't get it. Science is the intellectual and practical...
Senator Roberts, 2 things. I'd ask you to be relevant to the motion, and I'd ask you, please, you started off with one tone and you're steadily rising. I will ask you, please, to lower your voice.
Madam Speaker, in the UNC, we will rise.
This is the standing orders. Nowhere in this book is there anything about tone, volume, talking loud, booming voice. Nowhere. Nowhere. Okay? So now we begin. You all decide and you all determine. Everything was going smooth. So do you understand the debate? So the motion is about the speaking time being cut in half since August 29th. Taken despite opposition from the UNC. We did not agree. 1 or 2 or 3 independent senators voted to cut their own time to talk. That's their business. We did not. We wanted our full time. We getting full pay. We come to work. Boss lady, we come for this work. So we did not agree. So the motion is about the new norm. The science. What is making the decision to cut time in half? The building is huge. What is the science that says if we speak 20 minutes instead of 40 minutes behind a big screen, that you will be exposed to COVID-19 more? When others have masks, where we sitting down 8 feet apart, the roof is 15 meters high, ventilation all around, sanitization stations all through the place. What is the science? That is the debate. So you all determine, going good, relevant, or nonsense, pelt out. Go again.
And we shall rise. The science, the intellectual, and the motion. I'm trying to talk to the population and understand. The new normal is a science-based normal. Everything we do must be science-based. If we are curtailing time here, you must state categorically that a 15-meter high building with X amount of cubic feet of air with the air condition pushing and changing the air every 2 hours is only sufficient for 20 people. Therefore, we will remain here for X amount of time, 20 people at a time, and debate. You must say that. You can't come here today, this morning. This motion, for example, and Senator, the Honorable Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs knows that we have been complaining about the speaking time since August 29th. But just like this motion was filed some time back, weeks ago. It was put on the order paper and agreed to by Independent Senator Anthony Vera 5 days ago. Why is it now that you come here when the debate is ready to begin to come and say you increase time from 30 minutes to 45 and from 20 to 30? That is playing games. I won't use the words that Senator De Freitas used because I don't think they were parliamentary. But I think that is playing fun and games with serious issues. And to come here now and for the Honorable Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs to state that Senator the Honorable Wade Mark was out of order and ridiculous to come here and debate for 45 minutes asking for more time, but he used his full time that was just given. I think the population will say that that is not becoming of an honorable minister and a cabinet member. Science, the science, which is the new normal. The definition of science by the Oxford Dictionary says the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. It's a very specific definition. But coming here today, we see PNM science is exhibit total incompetence, yet portray illusions of grandeur, aided and abetted by a complicit mass media, suppression of democratic debate, and a hijacking of independent institutions. We have seen over the years manipulation of science, not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, but internationally. Who could remember, the history buffs will know, that the Tuskegee Airmen, for example, African-American pilots of great skill who wanted to serve their nation. Scientists told them and put studies laid in the Congress of the United States that stated that African-Americans' oxygen capacity to their brain was less than their Anglo-Saxon counterparts, and therefore they could not fly those jets because they would be more susceptible to passing out. That was science being abused to create a situation that they wanted, which was at the time they did not want African-American pilots in the Air Force of the US at that time.
back in the 40s and 50s. How many of us used to think that black people could not swim because scientists went in the Congress?
Senator Roberts, please, please. It might be affording some people humor. It does not.
What?
It's not in accordance with the standards here. Please come to the matter at hand. Please.
This is not humor, ma'am.
Please, Senator Roberts.
Let me okay.
I am not saying that you're humorous. I'm not saying that. I am asking you, though, to please be relevant to the motion.
Can I please advise you or try to advise you of the relevance? Do you all realize? Now you tell me. I am discussing the overall motion is that the PNM is using fake science, saying and claiming that it's science, to suppress and oppress the opposition and the voice of the opposition and suppress democracy. That they have concocted under this COVID-19 some sort of science that says cut the opposition time, don't let them talk, cut in half. That is the position, that is the case that we are making. I am giving examples globally when science or fake science was used to oppress and suppress the rights of certain types of citizens. In the case of the USA with the Tuskegee Airmen, scientists said that oxygen in our brains, black people brain, the passage for the oxygen going to the brain is smaller than a white person. Therefore, when you're flying those fast jets and doing maneuvers, that a black man like me, a pilot, a Doga, will pass out and crash the plane and be useless in the war. Therefore, no black people must be in the Air Force. Do you find that humorous? I was then going on to tell you, and all of you may have heard, and some of you may still believe, that black and brown people cannot swim because our muscles heavy and our bones dense and we just sink. Share the life, because I'm feeling plenty of all you're going, yes, but that is not true, Anil. Absolute, abject, total nonsense perpetrated by racist scientists who faked information, took it to the powers that be, who wanted to suppress black and brown people from utilizing country clubs and pools in the USA, Europe, and so on. So there was no access for people who look like me to go and swim. That was fake science used to suppress and oppress people. And then they try to tell me that's humorous. What part of that was humorous? What part was kicks? Did you all think I was joking? What was that? You can rewind a little bit. Is it possible to rewind like 30 seconds or 45 seconds? I want you all to tell me if I was on kicks. Because I want to know. I want to know if I have to go St. Anne's and get a blue tablet for myself. Run it and let me see if it's kicks I kicks it or if it's serious thing I talking. A scientist went in the Congress.
Senator Roberts, please, please. It might be affording some people humor. It does not.
What?
It's not in accordance with the standards here. Please come to the matter at hand. Please.
This is not humor, ma'am. With name science, which is the new normal. The definition of science by the Oxford Dictionary says the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. It's a very specific definition. But coming here today, we see PNM science is exhibit total incompetence, yet portray illusions of grandeur, aided and abetted by a complicit mass media, suppression of democratic debate, and a hijacking of independent institutions. We have seen over the years manipulation of science, not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, but internationally. Who could remember, the history buffs will know, that the Tuskegee Airmen, for example, African American pilots of great skill who wanted to serve their nation. Scientists told them and put studies laid in the Congress of the United States that stated that African Americans' oxygen capacity to their brain was less than their Anglo-Saxon counterparts, and therefore they could not fly those jets because they would be more susceptible to passing out. That was science being abused to create a situation that they wanted, which was at the time they did not want African American pilots in the Air Force of the US at that time, back in the 40s and 50s. How many of us used to think that black people could not swim because scientists went in the Congress?
Senator Roberts, please, please. It might be affording some people humor. It does not.
What?
It's not in accordance with the standards here. Please come to the matter at hand. Please.
This is not humor, ma'am.
Please, Senator Roberts.
You all please determine where's the humor, what's the joke, what's the kicks. And the matter, come back to the matter at hand. I am saying to you, the people out there, the matter at hand was that the PNM is using COVID-19 data and science to curtail rights, to make us wear masks in car even though you're with your wife and child, to make the bars closed but restaurant open, KFC open but Royal Castle closed, Doubles Vendor closed but others could sell indoor air condition, beaches open but rivers closed. You could play outdoor sports now but not indoor, but you have to wear a mask. There is no science. And just like that, in the parliament, in the Senate, they are cutting and suppressing the opposition speaking time because that's the only time the UNC gets to talk the truth freely, without media bias, without media analysis, without columnists, without headlines, without editorial content. We get to talk. And we paid by you to talk. So I would like to know, if I have to get back to the matter at hand, you tell me, people, or was I on the matter at hand? Run it, continue there. Let the people see.
I am not saying that you're humorous. I'm not saying that. I am asking you, though, to please be relevant to the motion.
Can I please advise you, or try to advise you of the relevance? The new normal, as I've stated, is science-based. In times, science has been utilized by people with nefarious motives to create and suppress the democratic rights of citizens internationally and locally. My position here on this motion is that the government has used their majority to suppress the rights of the opposition to speak, to debate, and to make the population aware of the laws that are being brought to thwart their constitutional rights and their ability to enjoy the freedoms of being born in Trinidad and Tobago. This is the debate that we are here. The science, and I'm giving examples of when science was warped right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember in the 2004 to 2008, where scientists came down and told us that a smelter plant would not give people cancer. They put people on planes and took them to Brazil, and people came back and said, we went to the island where there's a smelter plant and we saw no cancer. We were told that a doctor from Nigeria, from Harvard, who was paid by the smelter company Alcoa, came here and told citizens that the smelter plant, the Chinese technology, which other scientists had said was the worst without scrubbers, it would lead to testicular cancer, lung cancer, throat cancer. A scientist came here, paid for by the smelter company, to change the science and tell people that it was safe. Thank God the people stood up and did not fall for that. We must use science really and truly to promote truth and to have an idea, even here in the Senate, that is science-based and allows the opposition to do our work. We have been thwarted from August 29th to present. We are still thwarted by our 10 minutes, and we want to do our work on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago based on the science. And I am yet to understand why the curtailment, because the science, for example, would state that here as stated by Dr. Amory Brown, we have great protocols. We have temperature testing, sanitization all over, high walls, great air flow, plexiglass, sanitization in between speaking. We are separated. We wear masks. Then why the need to curtail the opposition from speaking? There is none, because if you follow science, the risk of exposure is minimal to none. So your argument is moot if you follow the science. Moving along. We also see science, for example. The government in one aspect is saying one thing, and then here in the Senate, we are ruled by another thing. We have just learned that, for example, in sport, as of Monday, we are allowed to play 22 people playing football, rugby, basketball outdoors. The science that the government said they are monitoring and adhering to says that 22 people can be in close proximity for any amount of time, wearing masks, playing physical activity, exerting themselves, tackling each other, falling down on each other, sweating on each other, poking each other's eyes. That's okay. But yet we are here in a pristine building with full protocols, full scientific ability, social separation, sanitization, ventilation, but yet you want to curtail our speaking time. There can only be one conclusion, that you are thwarting the democracy and thwarting the democratic rights of the opposition. We can go in a movie down, sit down in an enclosed space smaller than this, and sit down for 2 hours, eating popcorn, pulling down our mask to eat popcorn, to eat shrimp wontons and drink a Coca-Cola. But we cannot debate here because the PNM says we in the opposition must talk short. That is not right, and we call for a full reinstatement of opposition time, all speaking time, and if the PNM and the government wishes to curtail their time, so be it. But we are here to represent our constituents, to research and read and to pass good law, and we cannot continue to be curtailed. We see the science also. Unfortunately, our nation now has been deprived of a home qualifier football match, and I am having problem seeing the science at work, because last August, in the height of the pandemic, with people dying left, right and center, after we had been at 8 deaths for 3 months and 2 weeks, we moved up quickly to 100 deaths, but we had the CPL here, and those players came in from all over the world. They stayed in what we called a bubble. They quarantined for 7 days and then another 7 days of practice. But our national football team, who is preparing to try to make us proud by qualifying for the World Cup, cannot.
Senator Roberts, please, you are not being relevant to the motion here. The motion in this chamber is about the speaking time of parliamentarians. That is the motion.
Madam President, the speaking time of parliamentarians has been curtailed by the government based on their science, their data, their COVID-19 protocols. And I am saying that their science in here does not match their science out there.
I am saying to you, Senator Roberts, that you need to tone it down. Tone it down.
President, I would love to know what standing order, please, is tone it down, because I've read and I have not seen it. Please advise.
Well, no, that's very good for you. If you are reading and you're not seeing it, I am saying to you, and I have said it repeatedly, unless someone wants to question the authority of the presiding officer, I am saying to you, tone it down.
Madam President, I'm not questioning you. I'm asking you what standing order.
You actually
what
are
is the standing order?
You actually are questioning me. And I'm going to say to you, continue along this line, and your speaking time will be curtailed today.
Thank you, Madam President. I won't be shocked, but let me continue. I quote...
Senator Roberts, please, those offhand remarks, cut it out.
Let me say, this is a good time to quote one of the greatest Many questions. You all are the judges. Tone it down. What is that? Standing order. This is standing order. It's the book. The referee supposed to use this book. In here, nothing on tone, on volume, on anything of such. Was I rude? Was I grossly disorderly? Was it a gross disorder to ask what standing order? You determine, because I can't. I have nothing to say. I am showing you the people because that is your parliament, that is your Red House. All you pay my salary, all you, we representing half of all you out there, and we inside the Red House that build and refurbish with all your money. So I asking all you, gross disorder is conduct that shall be to be grossly disorderly if during proceedings the senator concerned creates actual disorder. Did I? Uses or threatens violence against a senator or other person? You tell me. Acts in a manner that displays flagrant disobedience to rulings of the chair? One, was there a ruling of the chair? Is asking a question about standing orders and the rules that we have to read and study here. Now many of those PNM people don't even know they're there 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. They don't even have the, when we talking, they'll be running through looking to see. Senator Mark make sure all his senators know this inside out. We have to do homework and we have to learn it. So y'all don't care that I learn this? Y'all don't care that I know the rules? Y'all don't care that they're supposed to be rules? Is that the democracy? Is that you decide out there? All you in charge? Go ahead, Archie. Soca Songs of the Year by the Blacks. I'm going to quote from it because it's a hit song. We didn't have a carnival, probably because the COVID-19 protocols and the science was not followed from last year, February. Had it been followed properly, pertinently, and to the best of everybody's experience, we may have been able to have a domestic carnival.
Senator Roberts, you are speaking on everything but the motion. This is your last opportunity.
And in the song, Black said, everything but the motion. Let me just remind you all, because you all are adjudicating, the motion is about the suppression and curtailment of opposition senators' speaking time since August 29th for this session and previously since March. The position of the opposition has always been that the PNM is utilizing COVID-19 to oppress the people, whether it be citizens, whether it be businesses, whether it be people who are opening, they are using and dipping in the heritage and stabilization, they are claiming statistics, they are manufacturing data, they're talking about curve that flattened when we didn't even have testing for a curve, they increased data testing in a one-day period by 31,000 tests without any increase in positives. They are putting our lives at risk. They could shut down Parliament and talk 20 minutes. But when they have THA election, everybody together for 3 hours drinking, eating and whining on each other. But that is science. So the argument is that we are saying in the UNC, and I am saying, the PNM is manufacturing science to suit them. So some people have to stay outside with no exemption to come. And some could go out and come back. A dog could come back. Foreigners could come back to work in a plant to make blue water that are still not buying. But citizens still outside suffering can't get an exemption. Delcy Rodriguez and PDVSA officials could land in a lockdown, get approval and exemption from the Minister of National Security, the only person who could do that. On a sanctioned jet, they could land and go to meet the Prime Minister face to face. But 90-something Venezuelans who want to go back Venezuela because Trinidad is sufferation and they prefer to suffer at home rather than here. Their plane can't come because the airline Conviasa is sanctioned. The disparity in the application of science is the bill, is the debate, is the motion. You determine whether I am irrelevant or making sense. Run it. If you cut me, you go see blood. If you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law, and all of us here are one nation under the law to make laws. Who feel they're too bright? 99, 1%. Love to whine, represent. All that we want to see happiness, prosperity. I for you and you for me. He had to write this classic song before September 2015 because blacks believes in his constitution. While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
Rewind that little piece there. I am not still in shock. I must be watching that about 20 times, but let me don't say nothing. Rewind that there, Archie. Government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of
You know, if it wasn't so serious. Archie, play it again. Curtailing a senator's speaking time is a very serious punishment, you know. It is only reserved for areas of gross misconduct, using threatening violence against a senator or other person, acting in a manner that displays flagrant disobedience. Believes in his constitution. While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
So I have dissected it, and I'm not saying much, you know. So I say that the PNM, the government, is oppressing and suppressing the voice of the people, the voice of the opposition, so that they could come in here, pass any laws, and oppress people out there. They're doing this without science, with fake science, willy-nilly. They're applying the law differently. So those who have, them don't have the law. They have Westers and Zesters. They have lie down on the floor and they have go home and party. It have lockdown, it have lock up, and it have release. It have all kind of different rules for everybody. And inside here, all you even controlling our talking time and how loud or sharp we talk. I get pelt out for saying the truth. I get pelt out of a Senate that I take an oath to serve the people. Take it serious. I am honored to be selected to represent the United National Congress, the opposition party, by the leader of the opposition. I understand that there are many other people who could be in my seat, and I treat that with respect. So when I go there prepared, and all, me are not on no kicks with nobody, me are no game with no little, I not on that. So you're determined. My speaking time just got curtailed for 4 minutes cut off, and that's the third time in 10 or 12 debates. The only human being that speaking time has been curtailed is moi. 3 times. On top of that, how much time? Interruptions. So I ask you all out there, was I being relevant? Do you understand the motion? Do you understand the point? Or was I being irrelevant, disrespectful, grossly out of order, disobeying, flagrantly disobeying the rulings of the chair and so on? Is that what you all saw? Continue there, finish it off. Nah man, it ain't finished, I ain't get pelt out yet. I know that one thing, I get curtailed. Now it a pelt out, man. You ain't know it a pelt out, boy? Yeah, man.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, I joined this debate.
Sir, just 1 second. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. I will ask you to apologize right now for the comments I just heard you make. I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Robert, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber.
Leave the chamber. Now understand, when my speaking time was curtailed, I picked up my papers and I said, this is a joke. Walking back to my seat, that was the exchange. What did I say, Archie? Did I say I refuse to apologize? I'm not apologizing. So I take instruction even though I disagree. I say I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke. And get pelt out. PNM people, let me hear what all you're saying. All you're in charge, all is the government. Let me hear if that is what all you want in the parliament. PNM people are talking to now. Run that little piece again when I get pelt out of a Senate. The Red House, the seat of democracy. When you saw clips of man pelting down thing, cussing, brown paper bag, shouting, nearly fighting, they didn't get pelt out. You all decide.
I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Robert, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister, Leader.
We're going to take a break and we're coming back. Douglas politics. You all decide, put your comments, put your thing, all you determine what is really going on. We're coming back.
Every kid and race find and we go places love to the max. And when we tell them Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
Now we're not doing that, you know. I am just going to leave something that Vishnu and them put together, and it's not exclusive, it's not full, it's not everyone. On August 29th was the first debate, I believe. First debate, had on mask, and it started. I am just going to leave this there for you all. You are the judges, because that is your house, that is your parliament. I'm not in there to play no game. This is my show, Douglas politics here. Be me, I can do what I want here. When I inside there, I am representing the United National Congress and people, citizens. 309,000 people who voted for, and even the 500,000 who didn't vote. They want to hear the information because every law that is passed in there affects each and every one of you out there, including PNM people. And I happen to know that many PNM supporters are pay very close attention to when I am debating, so that they could even learn about what their government is doing. And that's okay. That's what it's there for. That's what we are there for. So that when the PNM people go in the General Council, they could take notes from what Wade Mack say, Jolene John say, Jayanti Lachmidyal say, what Senator Nakit say, what Senator Lyda say, what I say, and they could go and say, but hey, nah, we don't agree with that, or you change that now, and they could impact governance, they could impact democracy. The Senate is not no joke. So I don't know who playing game. But look at games that have been played, and you tell me if this is what all you want, if this is right, if this is democracy. You tell me, and then they want to go and talk in Commonwealth Parliamentary Association discussion and Zoom meeting as if them is bastion of everything, I have nothing to say again. All you decide. You are the people. Actually run it, man. Run a little bit.
We began today with a lovely prayer that spoke about impartiality, prosperity, and peace, dealt with the dharma and the karma. But then, just like that, without any debate or discussion, I cannot have my colleagues here with me. We are down to 3 members. The government is down from 16 to 8. And I want to know on what science was this decision
Senator
made?
Roberts, please take your seat. The arrangements for the Parliament, for the Chamber, lie with the presiding officer. It's in the standing orders, and I do not think it is proper. In fact, I'm telling you, it's improper for you to be questioning the decision of the presiding officer in respect to arrangements of this chamber. So stop on that point and move on, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And you might on conflicts of interest, so I'm glad that he understands the principle, because he was at great pains to let the population know.
Senator Roberts, please. You have 20 minutes. I would ask you to treat with the matters before us. Okay? The bill that is before the chamber.
Madam, please guide me, because as far as I know, we're in debate when the Honorable Attorney General opens up the debate and discuss that is also open for debate. Has it changed, Madam President?
Senator Roberts, continue.
Thank you, Madam President. We're not all in this together. The motions were denied, discussions were not had, plans were not made, and I'm interrupted. Yes, ma'am. No.
Senator Roberts, you are so far from the bill that is before us. I would ask you please to come to the bill. And I would also ask you please to just lower your voice a little bit. The acoustics in here are quite good, and there's no need to be shouting.
Well, thank you for your guidance. I am definitely not shouting, Madam President. I was born with a loud mouth. I can blame my mother and father for that.
Well, Senator Roberts, if that is the case, then try to whisper.
I will certainly try to make you happy. I notice that I've been interrupted quite a bit. It's okay.
Senator Roberts, listen. You are in the Senate. You are in the upper house. I would ask you to get your behavior in line and to also heed the advice. You're getting advice from the presiding officer. And there is no conversation going on between you and me. Okay? I make the rulings. You abide by it.
Very much, Madam President. I just want to check 1, check 2, make sure that the mic is good and not too high.
A few moments later.
Senator Roberts, please. Can we, if you look at the standing orders, you'll see that we're supposed to be speaking in English. And on top of that, as I walked in, your voice is reverberating throughout the entire chamber. So can I ask you to take it down a little bit, please?
Good afternoon, Madam President. I'm glad you ate your lunch quickly. Thank you. I'll try my best. I just want to check 1, check 2, make sure that the mic is good and not too high.
20 minutes later.
Senator Roberts, you have 5 more minutes. Use those 5 minutes wisely and lower your voice. Please, you're getting increasingly, it's either you're agitated, but your voice is just rising.
Well, I'm definitely not agitated, ma'am, but thank you. No, guided. Thank you. I want to put a small pin there. But
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Minister of National Security. Countless videos have been shown by Trinidad and Tobago fishermen and by people of citizens down in Chaguaramas of Venezuelan fishermen coming off board and going into Massey stores and buying goods and so on. Is the minister aware of this?
Senator Roberts, please. You just made a whole speech. I'm asking you, tighten it, tighten your question, just ask the question.
Madam President, but it's what I'm just trying to give the minister some information because it was a question for the minister.
Then if you are to give the minister information, please take your seat. If you are to give the minister information, you have to give it in as concise a manner as possible.
Minister, there have been evidence that has shown over
Senator Roberts, Minister, you can now answer. The question has been posed.
Put a small pin there, but I am a fisherman and I have seen Venezuelans disembarking down in Chagaramas without COVID testing. So will you undertake to protect us from this invasion of COVID-19, please?
Senator Roberts, number one, you just made another speech. Number two, that question, if it was a question, is not allowed. Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries.
Madam President, I'm pleased to say that there are no other drugs used for COVID-19 which fall within the price range 100 to 200,000. Thank you very much.
Senator Roberts.
How many patients have been treated with this extremely costly drug or drugs?
No, Senator Roberts, I won't allow that question. Yes?
What is the success rate of this prohibitively costly drug?
I won't allow that question either. It does not relate to the question that has been posed and the answer received.
Has any other country utilized this extremely costly drug?
I won't allow that question either.
Criteria, symptoms, or risk factors which make this costly drug feasible?
Senator Roberts, that question is not allowed. Next question, Senator Roberts.
What? Shooting blanks?
Yeah, and there are other air assets that have been used by Trinidad and Tobago Air Guard throughout this whole period of time.
Senator Roberts.
Honorable Minister, in a report 2017, it was indicated to the public that air surveillance on the 2C-26 Metroline aircraft was deemed obsolete. Have these critical surveillance systems been updated and or replaced?
No, Minister, Senator Roberts, I won't allow that question. Yes?
The mission of the Air Guard is to defend the sovereign good of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Is it the Honorable Minister's statement here that during this pandemic, we have not had the services of the Air Guard to protect our borders?
I will not allow that question either. Next question, Senator Richards.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, on what, Senator Roberts?
Same question. I only asked 3.
You have one more. You wish to ask something that's relevant? Go ahead.
I will try my best, Madam President. Yes. How many pilots were on active duty at the Air Guard during the period March to August 2020?
That question is not allowed. Senator Richards.
Trinidad and Tobago remain closed, and it is illegal for persons to enter without the requisite permission and authority.
Can the Honourable Minister indicate whether talks are being held between the two authorities, that is Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago, concerning what the Minister has described as this human smuggling exercise that is taking place? Can the Minister advise this Honourable House whether talks are taking place between the two countries with a view to stamping out this human smuggling as the Minister has identified?
Senator Mark, that question doesn't arise. Any?
The Honourable Minister whether the government has continued to deport Venezuelans via pirogue vessels back to their homelands?
That question is not allowed.
If this bill was the law back then,
Senator Roberts, you have 3 more minutes. Can I ask you please to lower your voice? Okay?
I thought I was trying to match Senator Renuka Sagram Singh, but I'm sorry, I'll talk short.
Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. You have 3 more minutes. No, Senator Roberts, I'm sorry, your time is up. Attorney General.
Oxford And the PNM loves Oxford since 2 students told them that they were number 1, and they believe that, and we've heard that 100 times. But we moved from number 1 to number 192 now, and we're borrowing vaccine and then claiming that we didn't get it. Science is the intellectual and practical...
Senator Roberts, 2 things. I'd ask you to be relevant to the motion, and I'd ask you, please, you started off with one tone and you're steadily rising. I will ask you, please, to lower your voice.
Madam Speaker, in the UNC, we will rise and we shall rise. The science. How many of us used to think that black people could not swim because scientists went in the Congress?
Senator Roberts, please, please. It might be affording some people humor. It does not. What? It's not in accordance with the standards here. Please come to the matter at hand. Please.
This is not humor, ma'am.
Please, Senator Roberts.
Let me repeat.
I am not saying that you're humorous. I'm not saying that. I am asking you, though, to please be relevant to the motion.
Can I please advise you, or try to advise you of the relevance? The new normal, as I've stated, is science-based. In times, science has been utilized by people with nefarious motives to create and suppress the democratic rights of citizens internationally and locally. My position here on this motion is that the government has used their majority to suppress the rights of the opposition to speak, to debate, and to make the population aware of the laws that are being brought to thwart their constitutional rights and their ability to enjoy the freedoms of being born in Trinidad and Tobago. This is the debate that we are here. The science, and I'm giving examples of when science was warped right here in Trinidad and August, in the height of the pandemic, with people dying left, right, and center, after we had been at 8 deaths for 3 months and 2 weeks. We moved up quickly to 100 deaths, but we had the CPL here, and those players came in from all over the world. They stayed in what we called a bubble. They quarantined for 7 days and then another 7 days of practice. But our national football team, who is preparing to try to make us proud by qualifying for the World Cup, cannot.
Senator Roberts, please, you are not being relevant to the motion here. The motion in this chamber is about the speaking time of parliamentarians. That is the motion.
Madam President, the speaking time of parliamentarians has been curtailed by the government based on their science, their data, their COVID-19 protocols. And I am saying that their science in here does not match their science out there.
I am saying to you, Senator Roberts, that you need to tone it down. Tone it down.
President, I would love to know what standing order, please, is tone it down, because I've read it and I have not seen it. Please advise.
Well, no, that's very good for you. If you are reading and you're not seeing it, I am saying to you, and I have said it repeatedly, unless someone wants to question the authority of the presiding officer, I am saying to you, tone it down.
Madam President, I'm not questioning you. I'm asking you what standing order.
You actually
what
are
is it standing
questioning me.
order?
You actually are questioning me. And I'm going to say to you, continue along this line, and your speaking time will be curtailed today.
Thank you, Madam President. I won't be shocked, but let me continue. I quote...
Senator Roberts, please, those offhand remarks, cut it out.
Let me say, this is a good time to quote one of the greatest soca songs of the year by the Blacks. I'm going to quote from it because it's a hit song. We didn't have a carnival, probably because the COVID-19 protocols and the science was not followed from last year, February. Had it been followed properly, pertinently, and to the best of everybody's experience, we may have been able to have a domestic carnival.
Senator Roberts, you are speaking on everything but the motion. This is your last opportunity.
And in the song, Black said, if you cut me, you go see blood. If you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. and all of us here are one nation under the law to make laws. Who feel they're too bright? 99, 1%. Love to whine, represent. All that we want to see happiness, prosperity. I for you and you for me. He had to write this classic song before September 2015 because blacks believes in his constitution. While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, I joined this debate.
Sir, just 1 second. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts. I will ask you to apologize right now for the comments I just heard you make. I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister.